Whether it's bad planning, bad luck, bad timing, or bad inventions, well intentioned bad decisions have plagued history for thousands of years. Welcome to Historic Hindsight. Hello.
Hello and welcome to Historic Hindsight. I'm John. That's Tom. Today we have a interesting coronavirus special for you.
a,
Nothing
s-
real history.
yeah, a special episode because I am in isolation.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm quarantining myself as well. No scares over here yet, but uh, we're playing it safe.
We had a minor scare. Our wife had a fever, but we're not sure if that was the coronavirus or not. I kind of felt crummy over the weekend, but look, if it was a coronavirus,
Well,
pussies,
you got the lucky mild symptoms of it. That's that
I guess.
healthy bit, which is
Hey,
nice.
but it's good. It's the first time for our viewers that they get to see, you know,
Yeah, if
us.
you're checking us out on YouTube, you can see what put a face to the voice, which is
As opposed to just picture shows,
yeah.
which we are going to start doing some more video stuff or some video stuff coming up in the future now that Johnny's getting a capture card and
Yeah,
we're figuring out this video end of stuff.
as long as we can you know get together again sometime in the future. Eventually we'll get there. Sorry about the audio if the audio is trash, but this is the best we can do in this circumstance.
Yeah, I did order a mic for myself from my because I'm setting up a studio at my house, but Amazon Prime doesn't exist right now, so
Yeah,
it's going to take a month to get here,
like most things, unless
like
it's
most things.
city,
So,
which
Johnny, just for people at home, so they know because I'm an alcoholic, and if you listened to the whiskey episode last week, you hear me audibly get drunk as it goes on. But I'm drinking a Sazerac, which is my most favorite cocktail. That and
well, and so that's the little bit of history that we do have
huh,
in this episode. Is a set. This is the oldest
the
cocktail.
oldest, the oldest mixed drink in the United States cocktail is a Sazerac. It is cognac, a little bit of absinthe, and some orange bitters and Augustus bitters, and it is delicious.
Now, do you know if that's something that they started doing after the United States was created, or when the settlers were over? That it's just something that's left.
It took place in Louisiana, so a little bit after our founding. Once we get
So
Louisiana through Louisiana Purchase.
Americas.
Yeah, yeah. It is New Orleans, and it was mainly because some dude wanted to sell us bitters, and this is how he sold it
Yeah.
because
How else are
bitters taste like ass on their own.
bitters except for shove them into alcohol, and then Americans will buy whatever.
Pretty much, yeah. It is delicious. It's my favorite. The next favorite is Manhattan, which is old man drink. So
Oh
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just on beer, cheap
Coors
beer,
Light.
because I don't want to get too drunk at 3:45, whatever time it is. But
Yeah, the wife was kind of giving
it's
me
also
the stink eye when she saw me making my drink.
yeah, it's also my second one, so we'll see how that goes.
Eh, whatever. So today I kind of want to talk about, since I'm in isolation and
Yeah.
you're self quarantining, COVID on its own, and I did look up a couple of historical firsts.
Okay.
Uh,
That COVID has had
a
is
ton of firsts.
from COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, this is, I think, the first time ever that I could find in U.S. history that we've quarantined the whole damn nation.
Yeah,
Like,
it
you,
happened fast. It was like I mean, but there's still what's crazy is there's still states that are not mandated quarantine right now.
yeah,
Between and kind of the backwards rural states that are not really a part of this country anyway, I guess.
like
Whereas like they're just kind of there.
Texas.
Yeah, they don't exist within our operation. Yeah,
So the first thing I found that I thought was hilarious is that the CDC. This will go down in history. The CDC actually made recommendations that you cannot tongue punch people's fart boxes
yeah.
because that will spread the COVID. No rimming, no rim jobs.
All these damn millennials and they're eating ass, and yeah, they actually had to put that out. They as a CDC recommendation, official document
That
recommendation.
will Yes, that will be in the history books as part of the precautions that you use to not get the
Yeah,
coronavirus.
because
Which I think you would think that would go like that would just be you know common knowledge. Like we wouldn't have to expressly say that.
my thing with it is I mean, if you're gonna do that anyway, you're probably doing other things that are going to lead to contracting the coronavirus. Like that seems like an at-home, just not straight. Like you're not going out to strangers and doing. Well, okay, most people.
have you
This
ever
the
seen
CDC put
the
out
Tinder apps there, Johnny?
Yeah, maybe the CDC did put out a good recommendation there. But yeah, speaking of like looking back at the historically, I keep thinking about 20 years from now when colleges have this as a case study and how every single subject is going to be able to take a look at what happened during COVID-19 and use it
Oh
as
yeah.
such a prime example of either how things went right or how things went wrong or what powers were taken over, the social aspects of it. I mean, even math classes, statistics and biology and chemistry and everything, they can look at, the you know the
Well, statistics will definitely be able to look at how this is not statistically able to be like all the numbers that they're throwing at us are so friggin' skewed and
Oh
off that it. So like me and my personal experience. So the wife had a fever, right? She had a cough. She had a fever. She had a little bit of nausea. You know, like all the
all the
telltale
checkbox.
signs of
Yeah,
boxes are checked. So she went to the doctor, or she called the doctor's office, and they're like, "Look, we don't want your ass in here because, you know, no,
right.
go to a meeting." Which, come to find out, later that day, they'd actually closed the doctor's office completely because they did have a positive test in the office, and so they shut down the whole damn office.
One of the employees,
But
or
yeah, yeah. But they sent her up to the prompt care, prompt care, did temperature. She had a fever, had a cough. They're like, "Yep, well, we don't have any tests, even though you are an essential employee, so you might want to know if you are or not. We don't have any tests, so we're going to give you a note that says you've got to stay home for the next 14 days,
yeah,
and we can't confirm or deny that you have."
right. And so
So
it doesn't count as a positive. Uh,
no, no, not in statistics, no.
confirmed, and so they're never going to get that. Yeah, the numbers are going to be definitely
And then with the death numbers,
reported and everything, but you can't really gain real statistics on
insight.
how widespread it is because I mean you guys are in a more rural area.
Yeah, yeah, we just got our first yeah, we just got our first confirmed case like last week
Yeah, which
here, but
we
it's
have.
statistically skewed because the only place you can go get tested is the town over, which is a different county. So they all pop up in different counties.
Yeah,
So
and if you have one confirmed test, that means you tested probably a couple dozen people, and you have way more than that one confirmed test,
yep,
especially with the latency of how long it takes to see symptoms and to start experiencing them. 2 days to what 14 days
yeah,
week
yeah.
incubation time inside the
That's
body. Insane.
that's yeah, that's crazy because that's why we have to be quarantined for 14 days because it can take up to 14 days to even show any damn symptom.
Yep.
Um, I was reading a article that one of my conspiracy theorist coworkers sent me,
I love the conspiracy theories building.
which we're going to get to those here in a little bit. But this one was, goes with the statistics. We were always talking about at work, like the death numbers are way skewed on the higher end because the only people who are getting tested are the ones that are actually in the hospital significantly sick. Uh, and so, of those population, more likely are going to die than if the health, like me and the wife, we're not going to die.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
we won't be confirmed cases, so it won't count against that death ratio.
Yeah.
But it was a hospital in Chicago. They did a study and found that between 30 to 50% of the people that were tested that were positive because of the antibodies. So they had either been naturally immune to it or were already exposed and already had come off of it.
Okay, so they had their exposure. They probably felt bad for a day or two, and were
And
like,
we're
"Oh,
fine.
allergies or whatever," and then that's it.
And only they said only between 10 and 20% that were tested were actually like actively the coronavirus was actually attacking cells.
Yeah, showing symptoms,
So
and it was
again, numbers are. This is not a virus that we can really study statistically because of how. I mean, did you ever see the movie Contagion?
no, of course not.
You don't watch movies.
I don't watch many movies. I haven't seen very many at all.
So I know most people at home probably have seen it. And in that movie, the big rush, after the virus hit was trying to find the vaccine, getting the vaccine out there and getting people inoculated.
Yeah.
So they were all quarantined because they were waiting on the inoculation. We're all quarantined and we can't even get the fucking test.
Well, yeah, we can't get tested. Well, and the thing about vaccines, it's an 18-month process from when you find it to when you're able to start producing it because of the FDA and because of the testing you have to do and because of confirmation, everything that you have to do behind it. You have to, as soon as you get this vaccine, and then they say, okay, we have it, and now you have to give it to somebody, and then monitor them for like a year or something to make sure that your vaccine isn't going to kill them through something else. And so, yeah,
Johnny, why are we thinking long term here? Let's just go short term. Screw
God.
the end.
Well, I mean, time just doesn't matter anymore anyway. I don't know at any given time what time or what day it is. I don't know what month we're in. Apparently Easter's coming up. This whole quarantine is just insane. Like, it's skewing.
Johnny, Jesus gets arrested today. Did you not know that?
Who did?
Jesus got arrested today. You didn't know that?
Good Friday, yeah.
Good Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's Good Friday when we're recording this. You guys will see it a week later.
Oh yeah, maybe. If we'll see when we get it up. But
Yeah.
yeah. So okay. Well, yeah, there you go. Like, time doesn't make sense anymore, and so 18 months. Who knows how long that's going to really be? Could be a week or two.
Well, was it you, Johnny, who told me that there's going to be the coronavirus 2.0? Like we're gonna be able to all hang out again, and then come the fair time.
Well, there's it hits in waves. It's going to come back, and they've been seeing that, and so I think what's going to happen is we're going to start to drop. We'll hit our peak and start to dip down a little bit, and everybody will get so excited over the summer that, hey, it's summer, we get to go out, we have state fairs to go to, we have all this other stuff, and at that time that second bit's going to hit right when everyone's going to state fairs, and we're going to spread it all around, and then we'll be quarantined all winter again. It's going to be a mess.
I mean, I'm okay with being quarantined in the winter, though.
I also have another conspiracy theory that this is just China's warning call for world domination. And
yeah, that was definitely one of the ones I wanted to get into and talk about.
So I think that, they're like, okay, well, we have an old person problem anyway. We have a population problem anyway. So we'll send out this first wave that'll attack mostly the elderly and everything. We'll show the world that we can manufacture it, that we can send it out, that we can have a widespread, global pandemic within a couple of months. And then they'll say, all right, we have this other virus that is going to attack people between 25 and 50. And then they'll hold a world ransom for, I'm guessing, some type of global domination or something. I don't know. I watch Pinky and the Brain. Usually they just want to take it over.
It's China.
So they don't know what they want. They just want it all. And so I think this is just a threat and a early warning from them. Maybe it got out of hand. Maybe it went more than they wanted it to. But that's the thing with viruses. And if they have a more dangerous one.
Now to give that conspiracy, and I don't believe in it because my buddy at work's been telling me this crap from day one. But
I don't believe in any of these conspiracy theories.
But to give that one a little bit of credit, apparently like 6 months ago, there was a U.S. scientist who was working in the United States on biological things, who was arrested for treason because he was sending information over to Wuhan, China, which is where this shit all broke out to begin with. So if you want to go with conspiracy theories, at least that one has a sort of like grain of possibility.
Well, and nobody trusts China anyway, and so anything you say of them doing anything nefarious.
Damn it, Johnny! Now we're gonna get blocked in China.
There's no reason to trust. Okay, for our 2 Chinese listeners, don't tell your government we said this.
Johnny, we
I wish
don't even have 2 listeners.
Well, I assume both of them were Chinese.
One of them's your wife, and one of them's a coworker of mine.
That's fair. Okay. Well, in any case. But yeah, China's
Your brother's listening too now, or at least to an episode.
We'll see. But yeah, China it's a really bad spot for the virus to start because of all the distrust already around China and the government and what they actually do. And then you can start to say, okay, well, if they actually do these things, how far-fetched is it that they're
to do
doing
that. Well, and I mean, right before this whole shit started, you did have the whole Hong Kong protests, and now nobody's talking about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
It's a really, really nice
good
distraction.
way to stop
How about
fucking
that?
protests.
Yeah, you just kill 10% of the population, and people stop worrying about
It's just
freedoms of other
Johnny.
people.
Who cares? It's a bunch of baby boomers and the greatest generation.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. I guess they're the only ones that really care about them.
A bold prediction, and I want to do some bold predictions at the end here too. But
Oh, okay.
a precursor bold prediction that I have is that Social Security in the United States will actually get saved because all these baby boomers and greatest generation are going to die off. So that'll actually like free up some more Social Security, so that maybe by the time we get up,
Okay.
you know,
So we might
Gen X's
actually,
and us millennials and Gen Zs, maybe we'll have
yeah,
some
we
Social
might
Security.
actually have some Social Security because this is just going to wipe everybody out.
Wipe out all the old people.
Yeah, well, right. Well, I've been thinking about how this is going to affect the election next year too,
Oh God. I mean
because
this year, Johnny. Johnny, it's this year.
well, this next election, whatever,
November.
coming up. So
Yeah, it's
uh,
the elections in November, Johnny.
I guess I should check my registration. GoVote.com or something like that, or .org. You can.
Well, it doesn't matter because all all the primaries are shut down.
Well, yeah, but just because. So I think the entire South right now, the whole Bible Belt, is just depending on God to save them from all of this. And I think they're not seeing the
Yeah.
numbers that we're seeing. They're not getting the testing that the rest of the country is seeing, and obviously it's going to hit the rural areas later. But they're still holding church services. Like landlords are having to change locks on churches so that the pastors can't hold church services. Um, but they're just be absolutely decimated by this because once they start to see their peak numbers and once their hospitals do start getting overwhelmed, I mean, most of it's rural hospitals anyway that are already kind of at capacity and can't really do a whole lot. And once they start getting hit with hundreds of cases a day of people coming in with coronavirus, like what are they going to do? And
Johnny, Jesus will save them and the South will rise again.
well, we'll find out, I guess, won't we?
Yeah, great Commander General Lee will come out to our rescue.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to them. So
Yeah.
I'll,
Um,
I'll just stay in my house in the meantime, let this all blow over, and then be back to normal. Next winter, hopefully.
yeah, and to be fair, the quarantine's not been so. I mean, I'm on day 8 of absolutely not leaving the house right.
Yeah, for nothing.
And for the most part, I'm a hermit anyway, so I don't really particularly care. But
Yeah.
it does suck when like, oh shit, I'm out of Murica whiskey. I can't just go bop over and get some more American whiskey.
Right. Yeah.
And right now, over by us, Kroger's giving free like curbside pickup or whatever, so we don't actually have to. We don't have to touch them. They don't have to touch us. They just throw that shit in your trunk, and it's great. So shout out to them. The problem is, you have to order a week in advance.
Holy cow.
So, and Kroger is like the one shop that we have in our town that.
Which is why you have to order a week in advance. Like for us, like we're in Fishers, which is a big city north of Indianapolis. Like we have curbside pickup. We could do Meijer, we could do Target, we could do Kroger, we could do all sorts of different options. And so it's not really affected us much. We're both homebodies. My wife's working from home now, which has been an adjustment, but I stay at home anyway. The online schooling's been interesting.
Yeah, that's been
first grade, and then we have a junior, and so it's really not. I think we have it pretty easy as far as the grade levels go. But yeah, it's the adjustment that businesses are having to make. Not just the necessity businesses like the restaurants and the grocery stores and all that stuff, but just normal businesses like pharmaceutical companies or sales companies or whatever. The online
everything. Well, and my company itself has always been like, you have to have face to face. You have to have face to face. I have to go out and see these kids face to face. And now they're like, well, and they fought this. Like we had a bunch of service providers that were like, no, we're not seeing the kids face to face. We're only going to do virtual, like like this, like Skype or whatever.
Yeah.
And now they finally come around on it. And they go, oh, that actually does work. You're still visually seeing everything.
Yep.
weird.
Businesses are going to find out how unnecessary their offices are, or having everybody come into the office all the time, and they're going to be able to recognize that, hey, maybe working for a couple hours and then taking a 30-minute break is a really good way to go about things, because we're seeing production increases for our staff. And I know some people are probably having issues with getting meetings together and doing them.
Yeah.
For the most part, like, you're seeing a real shift in
mean,
how businesses are going to operate.
hopefully nobody from the State's listening to me. I fuck off a lot on not being in the office, but I will tell you, because they make me document what I'm doing every half an hour, so I have to do at least something every half an hour. I tell you, I am way more productive now than I ever was in the office.
And I think that's the case for a lot of people, because you have the option to go and take that short little mental break where you can start to do something else, just get focused off of it, and then come back and you're more refreshed, you're feeling more comfortable. And yeah, I think Ashley's, I know she's been really, really productive, because she doesn't have people coming up to her desk every 15 minutes needing something from her, or asking her a question that's unrelated. She can just sit down and focus on her work for an hour at a time,
or just shooting the shit, because that's what this guy does at work all day long, just shoot the shit about nothing.
Yeah, the distractions are way down, if you're able to kind of hole yourself off in part of your house. Single parents, I'm probably are listening to this, if we have any, and flipping a lid, talking about how much of a pain in the ass this is. But yeah,
so
I think all businesses will change after this.
I think there'll be a lot of big changes. Yeah. So another fun historical thing back.
Another first, or
what?
Is this another first?
Well, yeah, it'll be in the history books just as well as our CDC stuff. The World Health Organization, sorry, drank a Sazerac. Specifically in Belgium, in response, basically, there was a orgy party that happened in Belgium.
Of course.
And of this, like 60 people that participated in the orgy,
60?
something like 30 of them tested positive for COVID after it was over.
I mean, that's beyond an orgy. What orgy has to be capped at some number, right? Like,
I don't know.
60 is insane. That's a party.
Oh wait, no, Johnny, I'm wrong. It wasn't 60. I was going off my memory. It was a 500 participant orgy, and ended with 380 cases of contamination. So
you were only off by a factor of 10.
Yeah, whatever, but still close, right? So out of response to that, the World Health Organization has issued that wife-swapping threesomes and orgies of 6, 50, 100, or more are not permitted until the outbreak settles down.
Okay.
Like, that's the difference between the United States and like Europe, because the United States were like, orgies are against God's will, so you can't have them. But in Belgium, they're like, look, just calm it down until everybody.
You guys want to just seriously quarantine? That's not quarantining at all. Like, that is the opposite.
They're saying anything more than 6, so 5 people orgies are still okay.
Well, gatherings of 5 or fewer, I think, even in the United States, right, are still allowed at this point.
Don't throw that 6th person in there.
Yeah. Which
I did see
I mean, that's got to give somebody a 5th wheel, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's an odd number. It's never good to have odd numbers.
No, I mean, especially in swapping situations, because somebody's always going to be left out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what, though? I'll bet those people figure out a way to make use of all 5 people.
Yeah, I figure those people probably would figure it out a little bit. I did see another news article that showed a guy getting arrested at the park.
Yeah.
An ex-cop. Yeah.
I did.
See, out of all the things, like there's a logical side of my brain that's sitting here going, okay, the government doing this stuff is legitimate. It's fine. It's for a good cause. We do need to self-quarantine, and I'm okay with that. Then there's the Whiskey Rebellion, crazy libertarian side of the brain that's going, this is government overreach. There is nothing in the Constitution that allows the governor to go off and just close fucking businesses wholesale. There are some negative ramifications that can come from this, and one of which was a dad who was playing soccer with his daughter in the park. Softball, whatever. Tossing the ball around. One of those sports balls, Johnny. I'm not the biggest sports person.
Yeah, they're playing catch.
Playing sports ball in the park.
So
gets
and,
approached by the police and says, "Hey, the park's getting closed. You all have to go home." He refuses to give his identification, winds up getting arrested in handcuffs for a little bit before the police department chief is like, "Release him. What the fuck are you doing?" AKA, this guy's an ex-cop as well. So
yeah, well, and
what?
that's why it didn't get worse. But so in the rule is though, with the parks and everything, yeah, they're closed. Like you can't play on the playground equipment. You can still go to the park as long as you're keeping distance from
Yeah.
everybody else. And he's like, I'm playing catch with my daughter. Nobody's within 15 feet of me, at all, which is the proper distance and everything. He's like, and that's why he didn't give his identification because he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm sitting here playing catch with my daughter.
Yeah, he knows the civil rights, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, good for him. Also good for him that he happened to be a middle-aged white male, and not, any other sort of race or look or appearance or anything else. Because had he been, as soon as he said, "I'm not giving my identification," we all know he's getting tased, taken to the ground, knee and
Oh,
back,
at the least,
handcuffed.
Johnny.
And then they'll just sit with him on the ground while they call their supervisor, who will undoubtedly say, well, yeah, probably just go ahead and arrest him and the daughter too. But,
That's the kind of scary stuff though that I do see. That's a little. Ooh, it makes me
and
a little nervous.
Yeah, the communication and, police in general for the past however many years that we've been noticing have been taking there you go, cams.
Finished my Sazerac, so now I got to go on low end with hams.
But yeah, with the way the cops have been anyway, they've been, at least the way Twitter and everywhere else is portraying them is they're overstepping their bounds. They're, they think they're bigger than the law and better than the law and they're more than it. And so any sort of them being seen as exercising rights or their, I guess not rights, exercising authority beyond what their actual given authority is going to be kind of flagged and looked at, hopefully. Anyway.
Well, and it should.
Because
but then you get
that story is ridiculous.
The flip side of that is the town I live in now is like, we're not going to arrest anybody for shit unless they're committing a violent felony. You're good. We'll give you a ticket.
Yeah. I'll throw it at you, make a paper airplane, toss it through the window. I did see Indiana is they're tacking on charges for breaking quarantine when they pull people over. If they are not going for if it's not essential travel, which, I mean, okay, that's great that they're doing that, but what kind of idiot would get pulled over and be like, so where are you traveling? And be like, oh, I'm going to my friend's house for a party, and not just say, oh, I'm going to the grocery store because my family's out of food.
Johnny, have you met any American ever? Like, there's so many stupid people that would do that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess people say honesty is the best policy, but in this circumstance, just say you're going to the grocery store. Or you're going to your job. Like I told Ashley, anytime I leave the house, I do real estate photography. Anytime I leave the house, I'm just gonna have my camera in the car with me, in case.
Are you essential, Johnny?
It's my job, so it's essential work. I'm allowed to travel if it's for my job, and that's my job. And like right now, the only houses obviously it's slowed way down because everybody's been pulling their houses off the market because they're like, we don't want a bunch of strangers walking through our house doing showings.
Weird.
So, yeah, shocking. And so the only houses I've been doing have been vacant houses anyway, flips and refurbs and everything else where people have already moved out. So even when I do go out and about to do my job, I'm not coming in contact with anybody. So it's not really high risk at all.
No, it's not. So I did see another news article going back to China a little bit that did say that a think tank in the UK had suggested actually suing China. The World Health Organization should sue them for $6.5 trillion.
Okay, that seems like a reasonable number.
Well, because they have it, right? But $6.5 trillion due to their because they actively covered it up for the first 6 months of the outbreak.
Yeah. It could have been way less if they didn't. But
yeah, and actively minimized it and a bunch of other stuff. And because they did that, and we're actually still encouraging their people to travel across the world, they inherently intentionally spread it. So because of all that.
Okay, back to my conspiracy theory. There you go.
Well, right.
What more do you need? Can we
It's a
also
virus.
sue the United States for their mismanagement, downplaying it, and ineptitude, or
Johnny,
are we just going to gloss over the fact that we also had a president saying that it was a hoax and no big deal and everything's fine and don't worry about it?
Johnny, Trump's. You can't talk about hair Trump like that. Come on.
I think I still can for a couple more months until he actually becomes Trump.
Hair Trump, yeah. Can I like do a vent session for 2 seconds? Like
mean-
anybody who remotely follows me on Facebook or remotely follows me, well, I don't have Twitter, but through the historical hindsight Twitter or any of this shit, listen, if I make fun of an administration, whether that's the Trump administration, Obama administration, or Bush or Clinton or whoever, it doesn't matter. Alexander Hamilton, doesn't matter. Whoever I make fun of, I'm making fun of that person. It by no means that I am an ally to anybody else. So if you hear me make fun of Trump, I am not your ally. If you hear me make fun of Obama, I'm not a Trump ally. I hate everybody.
Yeah.
Like, please stop lumping me into these groups. I think your wife put a thing out there, and I commented to it, and like 3 people were like, "Yeah, but what Trump's doing is far worse." What? Like, I didn't say anything about Trump. I don't care. I'm not defending him. I hate him too.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, this is what we've become as a country, though. As a
If
social,
you're not this person, you're that person. Yeah, it's this 2-party crap that just drives me nuts.
It's 100% black or white. If you're against a certain policy, then you're definitely for this other policy that seems to be the opposite end of it. And it's like, well, what if I just think all that sucks? Like, maybe neither option. Like,
Oh, there's that
I think
meme I
that's what
sent
we
you
need to
earlier
do
with
with our
the
election.
Biden and his hands grabbing boobs and says Biden 2020, and then red it's got the
oh yeah,
Trump grabbing a pussy.
yeah.
Those are our options.
Good God, we really need to go to a none of the above option where if enough people vote just no to the election,
There just is no president.
you just wash everything. Everybody in Washington has to leave.
You know what, Johnny? That's the first political thing that you've ever said that I'm like 100%. I can get behind that. I'm glorious with that. Yeah.
I mean, that'd clear them out.
Yeah.
Because, good God, it's just the same people over and over and over again. And they have new names sometimes, but it doesn't
Maybe.
matter.
Well, look at our current administration. I mean, look at the current election cycle. It's going to be
Yeah.
Biden and Trump.
Yep.
Biden's the vice president of the last administration, so how is it any different than Obama? And granted, I'm not
Oh,
you like
I know,
Obama, you like Obama, whatever, but it's the same guy.
I know it's different. This
He's
time,
white and old.
Biden has dementia.
He's going to be sniffing children.
Yeah, he's even less qualified now than he was before. But to be fair,
Yep.
Trump probably does too. So
I guarantee it. Guarantee.
yeah,
Guarantee.
so dementia A, dementia B. What do you want?
Hey, but maybe our best case scenario is I heard that Trump was considering pardoning the Tiger King. So maybe Joe Exotic will get pardoned, and then he'll run for president as a libertarian, and then he'll get presidency because that's just about as equally as logical as the other two.
Do you want to know what? I wouldn't even be that mad. Because what's
worse, right?
Make it worse. I dare you. You can't. You absolutely cannot.
What? Well, I don't know, Johnny. Hitler or Stalin can make it worse.
I don't know. I guess. At least they had a plan. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, Trump
It
doesn't.
was a bad plan, but yes, yeah.
That's fine. I didn't say it was a good one, but they had one, and they knew what they wanted to do, and they knew what they were doing. They didn't just get up, and anytime somebody asked them a hard question, they just started insulting them like a playground bully. Like, not even a hard question, just any question. They're like,
Okay.
I don't know 5 of those words, so you're an idiot and a bad journalist. I'm head of the journalism committee in Washington for the past 8 years. You're bad though. You're never gonna make it.
Oh man, I wonder how many I'd be interested to see over the last our lifetime, how many people the administrations had fired and who fired the most people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
like-
Each administration, what the
It's-
turnover rate is.
Yeah, each administration had at least the last 2 had a pretty good turnover
Yeah.
on everything. So I'm kind of curious as to what that would be.
Typically, what happens though is the administration fires everybody that the previous administration had, and then hires people that they want, and then they keep that job, not continuously hiring and firing people because you're just terrible at making decisions. And as soon as you hire somebody, they're like, oh, they're qualified. And they're like, well, but I kind of think that this thing that you're doing might not be the best. Well, fuck you, you're fired. And so I'm going to,
you're going to guess that it was Trump. I'm going to guess. You're probably right.
House on it.
You're probably right. You're probably right. You're right.
I can't imagine there being more turnover.
I still want to see what that turnover looks like, though. I'm sure. I want to see a graph.
Yeah, those would be interesting graphs. I'm guessing it'd be just about every administration just clears house and
beforehand, and then I imagine
that's kind of what you're doing when you vote in a president, though, is you're saying I want this president, but I want this president's mindset and people, and so they're going to bring in their people, and I get that, but constantly hiring and firing people just shows how inept you are at hiring.
I mean,
people are inept. You're the common denominator. If you hire 5 people and all of them are bad, that's on you.
Yeah,
not on them.
So to get back to COVID, because we get on our random.
We got a little political, but I mean,
we did.
Political today.
It has to. Normally, historical hindsight is apolitical, but today, I'm sitting in my fucking kid's room because it's the quietest place in the house right now, and I'm mad about that.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, we would be having the same complaints and discussion if there was a Democrat in office. Because
anybody, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
there's not a whole lot you can do with a virus like this that's going to be successful.
Especially me, Johnny. You know me. Especially me. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I have a ton of guns and a ton of ammunition. That's just me. That's my personality. Not because I think anything's actually going to happen, but because I'm a collector and I like to shoot this shit. So
right?
Sure.
Just for the government officials, he has 2.
Oh, for the government. Well, they know, Johnny. I'm an FFL holder. They know I've got more.
They know you're a good guy registering it all.
Well, no, because you don't have to register. At least not in Indiana. You don't have to register anything. But because I'm an FFL holder, anything I buy off that license, they know I bought it.
There you go. Well, all right.
So they know I have at least 5 on the current license.
There you go.
So yeah, and then there's the other ones. But listen, the first thing I did when all this shit started storming, when we were panicking over toilet paper,
right?
When everybody was panic buying,
when everybody started to realize that, hey, this is some real shit.
Yeah, and when the government started you have to stay at home. When the governor came on the TV and said, you have to stay at home, I went, 1,000 rounds of ammo I have may not be enough. Let's go buy another 1,000.
Yeah, well, you and nearly everybody else, Tommy.
Which
I saw a graph and a little meme or whatever about people talking about how gun sales have spiked this time because of all this. And then somebody pointed out that every single March and April, gun sales spike because gun manufacturers have sales and because everybody's getting their tax returns. And
it is not far off of SHOT Show, which is the big the gun show of the year. SHOT Show.
Well, and March last year and the year before, I think both had higher number of sales or about the same number of sales. And so people are going to see these spikes that, everybody's hoarding and buying guns because of this. It's well, no, they're
hoarding ammunition more than guns. But what is a little bit
the people who are going to be the preppers for this, they have their guns. It's just, do I need 5,000 or 10,000 rounds of ammunition? Let's see.
There are statistically more first-time gun buyers now than there were before, which, okay makes sense. Hey, and you know what? To all the first-time gun buyers out there, great. Enjoy your new purchase. Please, 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 from historic hindsight to you guys, go out and take a training course.
Learn how to use it.
When you're able to, because it'll do you absolutely no fucking good if you don't know how to use it.
Yeah, and if you're not 100% comfortable using it.
Yes, yeah.
I know how to use a gun, but I don't own one, and I don't. If I were to buy one, I would take all the training courses because I could use it, but I'm not going to be just capable of using it because if I bought one, it would be to defend my home, which I'm guessing that's what most people are buying it for is, well, I'm going to be at home all the time and supplies are getting short. I don't want people coming into my house trying to steal it, so they have to get their protection. But yeah, I don't think I'd be comfortable right now if somebody walked into my house just pulling a gun and shooting it.
Yeah. So they'll take the training.
There's the mental aspect, which training helps. As you get more comfortable with it, you learn how to use it and everything else, and when and why, and you're not freaking out trying to use it. You're calm, cool, collected, and trying to use it.
Exactly. I have my own warning system that I have, you get green and the yellows and the reds. See, mine is do I get the musket out of the closet? That's stage one.
Okay.
Get the musket out of the closet.
I imagine just slowly loading it and getting.
That's stage two, Johnny. Do I load said musket? That's stage two. Stage three is do I get the repeating rifle out of the closet?
Yeah, I feel like with the musket load speed, step one might be also loading it.
Maybe.
Just because, like.
Well, I said this is my stage. Like I've got get the musket out of the closet, load musket.
Yeah.
Get the repeater out of the closet, load the repeater.
Okay.
And then get the modern gun out of the closet, and then load the modern gun.
Yeah.
Mine's
a little different. If I think there's a home invader in the house, I just remove all of my clothes and find a stick. And if I get near the kitchen, I'll get some grease myself up, but usually I'll be in the bedroom anyway. So yeah, it's just completely nude with a stick because I figure once they see me, if I'm just nude, that gives me 2 to 3 seconds of what the hell's going on.
Oh, guaranteed.
I can come in and just start doing some damage with my stick. So
yeah, that's a good. I like it.
Yeah, if it gets too bad, might have to move to your route. Do you have a flared muzzle musket loader like the Bell?
A blunderbuss?
Yeah.
No, I don't have one of those, but my dad does.
Yeah, see, I think you need to get one of those because it's just so visually easily
intimidating.
As this guy went to the trouble of loading this old ass gun to come and probably shoot me with it, and that's gonna suck. So I think that's a little better intimidation. I mean, the old giant muzzle loader, sure, that'll be intimidating, but if they can easily recognize it as something that took 3 minutes to load or whatever.
Yeah, like a blunt. I gotcha.
Like this guy's been waiting for this to happen.
He was. I think if somebody broke into my house, I would almost want to shoot them with a musket just because, like.
Yeah. That's the way you do it because then they're just sitting having to reconcile the fact that they just got shot with a 200-year-old gun or whatever.
That'd be glorious.
Call the cops, you'd be like, I'll load another one for you if you want to start moving. Like, well, let's get, all right, fine. We'll start packing down the powder and everything. And yeah, I think that would be the way to go.
I like it. That is the way to go.
They would definitely consider their future plans as a criminal, I think. More so than if you just pulled out like a little pistol and shot him, whatever.
Whatever, the pistol.
They're not ready for
a musket.
1864.
And get bayoneted.
No, if you could attach the bayonet too, that's.
Oh, of course I'd attach the bayonet, Johnny. What happens if I miss?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good.
I have my backup.
Really good point. Yeah.
So back to COVID. So on the other big conspiracy theory that's going around, I'm sure most people have heard, is that 5G cell towers.
Oh my God.
Are causing this.
Oh, how do people think a virus works?
And we went to college. God, who was it? You know what? I'm not going to name their name because I don't want to piss. Whatever. I don't really care. But I'm not going to name their name. Somebody that we went to college with, Johnny, put out a petition to stop 5G towers from being built until we know the health ramifications.
Okay, that's fine. I'm completely on board about that. But here's the thing: we know the health ramifications.
Yeah, we sure do. There are none.
Yeah,
okay. So almost.
There you go. Keep building them.
So, and I don't understand what the whole how on earth could 5G? I don't get it. And I've read some of these conspiracy theories, and I'm still not getting an answer. How the hell is 5G causing anything that is like a virus? So the problem with 5G is
why can't 4G or 3G?
So
Like,
so 5G, like any other wave, whether it's radio wave, audio wave, every wave causes radiation.
yep.
Okay. So let's say 5G all of a sudden was so powerful, which there are basically three types of radiation that you have. You can sum it down. You have the radiation that does absolutely nothing, that it can't enter your body, just reflects off.
Yep.
You've got the radiation that can enter the body but doesn't have enough strength to do
Yep.
anything. And you've got the radiation that can enter the body and fuck shit up and cause tumors.
Sure.
So if you've seen the tsunami that caused the Japanese, meltdown, or
Yep.
if you've watched Chernobyl on HBO, which by the way you should watch it, it's a great show. Watch it. I know you're not gonna,
I'll put it on the
but
list.
watch it anyways. Radiation, what it does is it either does something overt and kills you right off the bat by like causing blisters and making your hair fall out and fucking kill you
Yep.
right off the bat by exploding your organs,
Yeah.
or it causes cancer like 10, 15, 20 years down the line.
You know
Those are
what?
two things that radiation does.
A respiratory virus.
It's not caused by radiation.
It's
Like,
not capable of carrying it. Sound waves
No.
couldn't carry it. Light waves couldn't carry it. None of the waves. Ocean waves could barely carry it. I mean, they could a
Yeah,
little
but-
bit. You're gonna need a whole lot of the virus in the ocean waves to matter. Yeah, it's just it.
it makes no sense. And
no.
I saw this graph showing like how 5G, like the areas where 5G is the highest, has the highest confirmed cases of COVID. Well,
Huh.
maybe that's because 5G is in large cities and only in large cities right now, which is where fucking people are getting sick.
Tommy, you took stats, right? You took statistics and
I graduated with a degree in sociology. Like statistics are my thing
Yeah.
to a degree,
so
and
you get it. Correlation always equates to causation, right? It's always
No.
there.
That's,
What?
that's my biggest. Oh, it's my biggest fucking pet peeve.
It's just-
Correlation, very, very, very rarely is causation.
That's ridiculous, Tommy. I took a study of K through 12 students, and I measured their shoe size against their standardized testing scores. Gave them all the same test, and the bigger the shoe, the higher they scored on the test. You can't argue that.
Which is, well,
Shoe
you know
size-
what, Johnny?
If you have bigger feet, you're smarter. There's no other way.
My favorite one. My favorite one. This is an actual study that was done, and yours is that's true too. Is that the higher the ice cream sales,
Yeah.
the higher the murder rate in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Ice cream leads to murder.
So ice cream causes murder.
It's people fighting over the ice cream, likely getting into confrontations at the ice cream truck, pulling
Yeah.
out guns and shooting them.
Or there could be no other third factor, or something like heat causes people to get aggressive, or in your case, shoe size, age.
Or heat just causes people go out more and are seeing more people and are leaving their houses and everything. No, that doesn't make sense. I think ice cream definitely leads.
You know what we haven't had though, since this whole like quarantine shit started, a mass shooting. Like maybe like how we solve mass shootings is we just quarantine everybody to their house.
Nobody's allowed to leave their houses except for essential goods. Yes, that's the future I want, Tommy. That's how
No mass shootings though, Johnny. No mass shootings.
you can't
and
have
gun
a
sales
school
are through
shooting
the roof.
if you don't have school.
Can't have a school shooting.
I wonder if bullies are gonna like just go to the houses of the it'll be
And start-
you get
start
more
bullying at the house.
targeted shootings. Though they won't be mass, they'll just be very targeted bullying shootings.
Could be. But this 5G conspiracy theory, like people are getting behind it. Like people
Well,
believe
and
it
it has-
so much that like again, you had that. We went to school with somebody who's passing this shit around.
Well,
Like-
where were there fires? Where did people burn them down?
England, in the UK, people were burning 5G towers and like, hey guys, could you please stop burning these fucking towers? We
My,
swear you, they're not causing anything.
my internet signal shit now. I can't get any data. Like, come on, guys. I want to watch YouTube.
Not to mention the fact that like this so this is radiation. It falls in the second category. This is like radio waves, television waves, any other wave that's been out there since the dawn of time. Yes, it is radioactive.
Yep.
No, it is not strong enough to actually do anything to you. It is no different. If you step outside right now, if you go outside and you step outside, the sun rays coming down on you, way more harmful.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, they'll give you cancer real quick. Man, I got some sun the other day. Went outside. Oliver's playing badminton now. Played for like 2.5 hours.
Badminton.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Chinese? Come on, Johnny. This is not the time to do Chinese sports.
Is that a Chinese sport?
I don't know. They're really good at it. They're
Wow.
always winning it in the Olympics.
When you have 6 billion people in your country, you're going to be really good at everything. Like,
They're really good at ping pong too.
yeah. It's just.
And they're really good at gymnastics because they
I
take
don't
the
think that-
12-year-olds and they send them in there and they say that they're 16, but they're really clearly 12.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's that old thing that, like, no matter what you are good at, like, no matter what you can do, however good you can do it, there's always an Asian person who can do it better.
Oh, well, God, yeah, because there's a billion.
And I get it just.
Or like 3 billion, I think.
Yeah, because of numbers game. And that point is like, well, yeah, I mean, they got all those people.
They fit every stereotype because there's enough of them that they fit every.
Somebody's going to fit there, yeah. Like, yeah, you can find it. Well, I mean, the stereotypes always exist for a reason. There's always a couple, at least, and as all.
Well, I think we should probably. It's probably been about an hour that we've been recording this.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, we'll take a quick break here or wrap it
We're
up.
taking a break. I thought we'd just wrap it up
Okay,
with some
I'm
bold
fine.
predictions.
That sounds good to me. I just needed another beer, so. All
Oh
right.
well, if you need another beer, we can pause it for you to get another beer.
Give me a beer.
What kind of beer?
Beer. Beer's a beer.
Until you've tasted hams, I've had beer in Bavaria, in London and Japan. But a beer is a beer is a beer is a beer until you've tasted hams.
Have another Hams. The beer born in the land of sky blue waters has a new label, but the flavor still runs deep.
A beer is a beer is a beer is a beer
Another hams.
until you tasted hams.
We are back with some bold predictions for you. Are these
Bold predictions.
I'm guessing
Brought to you by Hams.
COVID related, and not actually, but we're gonna pretend.
Is Hams gonna get mad if they get some free advertising?
I doubt it.
Come on, no, they're not.
Um,
$11 at your local Walmart.
so you
for
said
30.
you have some predictions. I assume about COVID. I assume about the future, where we're going with it. What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
with the disease?
Yes, I do about what could possibly happen post COVID when things finally calm down. So first on the video game world,
Oh, okay. I like where we're
yeah,
talking.
video game world. Places like GameStop's been on its way out for a while, and although I do like GameStop, I mean, most people who are gamers don't. I kind of do. I hate their new model and all the stupid shit that they sell in the store as opposed to old games. But
Yeah,
like
way more a memorabilia place than a game.
they
shop.
do, and that's stupid, and I hate it. But like, and then they try to sell you on cell phones. They try to sell you on
Yeah.
18 million things when you check out. So it's annoying. And I have to safely say, I don't think I've been in the GameStop and actually bought anything in like 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a while for me. I've taken Eric, my older son, there a couple times when he's had some money to, look around. But most of the time, he ends up walking out without anything.
Yeah, I still like the idea of them, though. I remember EB Games back as a kid going to Greenwood Park Mall. And, man, that was a thing. And they had PC games. They still carried PC games at the time. And I don't think GameStop has carried a PC game in forever.
I didn't.
'Cause-
Never did.
Because basically, PC games have already gone to all digital.
Oh, it's all Steam, right? Like,
Yeah, all Steam. Yeah.
you
So
wanna-
that's my bold prediction is that I feel that after this quarantine, most video game producers are going to realize that that they're getting just as many digital sales as they are on anything else. So what's the point of physical media anymore?
Yeah, either that or they're getting sales through online retailers, and they don't need to have brick and mortar
Mortar, yeah.
stocked with
So-
their games that aren't ever going to sell, and then they take losses on it.
Yeah, at the very least, your
No.
dedicated video game store that's selling modern stuff, not like your disc replays, but your dedicated. I only sell modern stuff,
Right.
like a GameStop. I think they're gone. I think they're not going to survive this. I don't think
Yeah. I think. I mean, GameStop was struggling,
as
anyway,
is.
which
yeah.
is why they tried to do that whole. No, we're definitely an essential, service, and we need to.
Worked out real well for them.
Yeah, no, you're not GameStop, and you just lost a whole lot of people who are like, you know what, I'm gonna not go there now because f those people.
Even, and I feel like there was the old Nintendo executive actually jumped ship and went over to work with GameStop. I don't think he can save it. Like I think it's
No.
such a sunk ship that it's dead. at the very best, it'll last 1 or 2 more years with the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Just from the physical sales of that. But outside of that, I think COVID will be the death of brick and mortar video game specific stores that sell only modern stuff.
Yeah,
So unless GameStop can transition back to the collectible market, like the old, even Xbox 360 at this point, if they can go back to that and before, they're going to be dead otherwise.
yeah, I kind of feel like the Xbox Series X, whatever the new one that's coming out, the PS5, whatever this latest generation of console games, it kind of feels like this is the last true console iteration, and it's going to move more to like hey, this is a PC style. It's still Xbox, it's still whatever, but now you can pop out this video card and upgrade to this one. Now you can pop out this,
Yeah, I can see them
modular type PC oriented or whatever.
I can very much see them going to that, but hell, even the Xbox Series X, it's a PC tower. I mean, if you look at it, it's a freaking PC tower.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they're both saying, like, okay, we've gotten to the point now where, yeah, we can compete with PC specs. Not top of the line, but pretty darn good PC specs.
Man, from what I've seen from Series X, especially, first off, you're not going to be able to build a PC that will be able to do better than what the Xbox Series X is going to be able to do, even if it's $600.
Right.
You're not going to build a PC for $600 that's going to top that.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and so I think that's why the next iteration is, okay, here's a Series X2 or whatever the hell they're going to call it.
Just pop in a new video card, pop in a new processor kind of thing.
Now it's all modular. You can
Yeah.
our Xbox branded, whatever, and it'll be more expensive than base PC stuff, but eventually third-party stuff will come in, and you'll be able to just have this modular PC type console that you can play.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I can see that. Getting on to the video game nerd market that we don't typically do, but we're both video game nerds. Anyways, I think all streaming eventually will catch on once Fios becomes more of a universal thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that that Stadia is going to be the option. I think that's going to be gone. But I think Xbox with their xCloud, I think that's going to just dominate the market. They're even talking with Nintendo right now to put xCloud on like Switch.
God, they
So
need.
I think-
So I've been playing the Switch, trying to play online with my brother, playing just Mario Maker, and just the lag that they have.
Oh,
just,
Switch Online is
it's-
dumpster. It's garbage. Like, I don't understand what Nintendo's doing. I love the Switch. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I bought a Switch a year ago. Love it. It's one of my favorite systems. I didn't think I'd like it, but it is the ability to take, like, LA Noire, for instance, and be able to play it on my couch. My wife's watching whatever she wants to watch. Phenomenal. Love it. But, dear God, what are you doing with your online shit?
It's useless. Well, and not only their online, their multiplayer as well. Like, so my brother had this Sonic and Mario Olympics game. I'm like, sweet. So we got it too.
Yeah.
So we can play online. We can play online with each other, but only one person on each side. Like, I can't play with Ashley and Oliver too, where we have 3 on them and, do that. So all of their online
Well,
stuff.
because Johnny Nintendo wants you to buy 3 Switches.
It's all just garbage, their online stuff.
Well, what they did with Animal Crossing when they went to they made it so like your one game that you buy for Animal Crossing, which I've never played, I don't know anything about it. Like, it's not my style of a thing.
Yeah, I've not gotten it.
Great for people who get it, but apparently you build your island or whatever. But if you have one game, that one game's linked to that one Nintendo Switch, which is linked to that one account, so you can only have one island, which is fine if it's like me or you, where we're just single dude. Well, not single dudes, but you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
Terra people.
We're the only
If
one.
But if you're a family, like you're trying to, like, your kids want to play the game too, well, now they're playing on your island. Fuck that noise. I don't
want my kid messing with that.
Here's my experience with Minecraft. I got Minecraft when it came out when my kids were young on PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Got it. I toyed around with it. I kind of liked it. I built this medieval castle. It was really pretty fucking cool. And then I let my kids play it because, they want to play it too. And they got onto my damn account and they put the TNT all over my castle and they blew it the fuck up. And I haven't played it since because I spent hours on that, Johnny. They blew it up and they saved over every one of my files because they're little assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, multiple accounts should just be a default thing. Anyway, all right. I think that's enough.
Anyways, next bold prediction, the other bold prediction I have,
Number 2.
and this is, I think, my kind of, second final one. The last one's more of a conspiracy theory bullshit thing. But
I like it.
for my second final one is I think movie theaters
Okay.
might not recover from this. Because right now we're already seeing most of the movies that were in theaters or are going to theaters to be live streamed. So you
Right.
can go to things like Vudu or whatever and rent them and download them, go to Xbox services and download the shit. I think when production companies realize that they can make just as much money or even comparable amount of money selling it through rent right away, like just
Yeah.
put it right out to DVD or put it right out to streaming, I think movie theaters will kind of die out and kind of go away.
Or it could go the other way where movies that go to theaters aren't released for like a year after the movie comes out in theaters. It's like so they basically have a release for the movie theaters and then a year later do another release for streaming and
That's about the only way movie theaters can survive this is if you do have a release to the movie theater that's exclusive for at least a year,
yeah,
which is what it was like when we were kids. When we were growing up,
it was
I mean,
wild.
even VHS in the late 80s even, it was expensive to own a VHS. Like it wasn't like $20. It was like $40, $50, $60 to buy a new VHS in the late 80s.
Yeah, I mean, think of it now as like buying when Blu-ray became a thing, I bought a PlayStation 3 or 2 or whatever because it was the cheapest Blu-ray player around. I mean, Blu-ray players were anywhere from $300 to $1,200. And the only reason I bought it, I'm like, well, I want a Blu-ray player, but
Which
I don't pay $600, I'll pay $400 or $300, I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah, but by the way, Johnny, we are definitely doing, for you at home listening, we are going to do a series of tech stuff for the format wars that have happened through our lifetime. And I tell you, the Blu-ray whole thing, like Microsoft fucked them intentionally on that Blu-ray. They dropped, long story short, Sony dropped so much money on Blu-ray that they will never, even today, the CEO said they will never recoup the amount of money they spent on Blu-ray. And PlayStation, I just bought a PlayStation 4 Pro, does not have a 4K Blu-ray player in it because they realized nobody wants the hard media anyways. So they just got rid of it. And they said, if you want 4K streaming, just 4K stream, don't actually have physical media.
Yep.
Which is what Microsoft predicted all the way back with the Xbox 360.
Yeah, they had foresight. They're like, yeah, this is going to be a pretty temporary measure, and then it's going to move to something else. So let's just make them load it. That's why they put that shitty little external HD player. Like, yeah, we're not going to put it in, but you just buy it.
We are going to cover the HD DVD Xbox 360 port, and do not badmouth it. I love it, Johnny. I love it. I tell you, the sound quality on that
is it way better than your Laserdisc?
It is. Well, hey, look, why are we bad mouthing the Laserdisc? Laserdisc was phenomenal. If you wanted the movie quality for 30 minutes at a time, Laserdisc was it. And but believe me, we're doing a video on Laserdisc too.
I can't wait to see what you show me on it.
Well, I think I might pick one movie that's universal to like VHS, Betamax, Laserdisc, CD.
So
I'm going to try to find one movie that's on all formats that I can use.
So
I think Great Dictator might be the one.
I have to watch a movie 4 times.
You have to watch a segment of a movie 4 times because when we put it on YouTube, they won't let me put more than like 2 minutes of a thing on it.
I don't think I've watched 4 movies this year.
It drives me nuts. What are you doing right now, Johnny?
I can't sit through it. I don't know what it is. It was like all of the sudden, a couple years ago, I just ceased being able to sit through a movie.
What do you do? Oh, to be fair, like when me and the wife watch movies, half the time she's on her phone or I'm on my phone or whatever. Attention span's gone down the drain, and movies kind of suck lately. But I still can't imagine. Like you don't even watch TV shows though. That drives me nuts. Other than The Office.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say I do watch TV shows. It's just I watch the same like 2 or
You watch The Office.
reruns.
That's it.
I watch The Office. I watch Utopia now that I have that available.
Because I got it for you.
Yeah, because you bought it for me legally, which was amazing for you.
We legally rented it, Johnny.
What a nice gesture. Tommy. And yeah, those are really. Oh, Letterkenny, I'll watch sometimes too. But yeah,
Letterkenny?
Letterkenny.
No.
Oh
Huh?
my God, Tommy, you gotta watch it. So stream Letterkenny. It's on Hulu. It's about Canadian hillbillies. It's fantastic.
Okay, that sounds like it'd be up my line.
Yeah,
The wife, I have to. She goes to bed a little bit later than I do because I'm old.
yeah.
And she watches Grey's Anatomy like over and over and over again. I swear to God, I know everything about Grey's Anatomy because I fucking listen to it in my sleep every fucking night. And the thing that I hate about the damn show is that it is the most screamiest show. When you are trying to sleep, everybody is screaming in a damn show. They're either yelling at each other or they're screaming in pain. Like it is.
I know very
awful.
little about that show, but I know there's all sorts of drama.
It's the most ridiculous
That's all
drama.
it is, right? It's just drama.
Everybody's having sex with everybody,
Yep.
and B, the most ridiculous.
Great
Oh,
drama.
a terrorist attack in Seattle happens every other show. It's stupid.
I mean, you gotta have drama, Tommy. That's how you make a good show. How many
There's
seasons?
nothing but drama.
13 or something shit?
What drama is in Parks and Rec or Office, other
Oh,
than like
I
the
don't-
drama
I
of
don't
putting
need-
somebody's stapler in Jello?
I don't need anybody's drama. That's why I watch The Office over and over again because I don't need new surprises. I don't need extra stress or anything else. I just give me some things that I know what's gonna happen.
I'm a Star Trek man right now. I'm rewatching all the original, the Next Generation Star Trek is what I'm watching. So
Okay,
there's
yeah.
that.
You said Picard was good too, right?
No, yeah, the new Picard. Well, see, this is what's weird. I hear a lot of reports about like original Star Trek people not liking Picard, like original Star Trek people not liking the new movies.
They're not
But like,
gonna
dude,
do anything.
they're good. I like them,
It's
and I like the
original
old shit
Star
as
Wars
well.
nerd. It's like original any type of nerd fandom. The original any type of anything they're like, unless this was developed during my age when I was growing up with it and I was in my formative years, anything beyond that is trash.
Yeah,
It's
they hate
fun.
Picard because it's dark and it's realistic, and I'm like, oh my god, that's exactly what I wanted. Star Trek was dark and realistic,
Little grittier and not as campy as.
and now I got it, and it's phenomenal. Yeah, Picard was good. So, like I said, movie theaters, I can bold prediction. I see them going away, other than maybe a niche thing where it's like, oh, I want to watch this movie in a theater, so I'll go there. But I like your idea too with it, where they give it an exclusivity thing, where it's
Yeah,
a year.
might
Because
be.
if they don't do that, because for us, when we were growing up, that's the way it was. Like you would watch a movie in the theater, and you don't get it onto VHS until at least a year later, if it ever even came out on VHS,
Well,
and if you could afford it on VHS.
it was such a stretch of time too that like you got excited when it was going down to theaters, and then if you missed it in theaters for whatever reason,
You got
kinda
excited when it was
forgot
coming
about
out for
it,
VHS, yeah.
and then all of a sudden you saw, oh shit, this is coming out again. Now I can actually see it. I can go to Blockbuster and rent it or whatever. But or
So yeah, I think one or two things are going to happen with theaters. I think they're either going to go away altogether, which fuck them when they were $30 bag of popcorn
Yeah.
and their bullshit.
they can all,
Or I think they're going to have to adjust and either come down on the concession prices and have an exclusivity period. I think it's the only thing that might save them because Johnny, I don't even know the last movie I went and saw in the theater.
I saw Birds of Prey because Ashley really wanted to see it.
Was it awful? It looked stupid.
No, I mean, you know what? It depends on how you go into it.
If you go into it thinking it's going to be a campy, fun movie, it's fine.
If all you want is just some entertainment for a little while, and you don't care about the history of all the DC comics and everything else, and you don't care about all the little what they got wrong or did weird or whatever, like it's a fun DC comic movie. Like that's what it is.
Okay.
It delivered. Like I enjoyed it. It was a fun, however long.
I imagine it's probably on par with all the other Marvel. Like you get the Marvel fandom that's like, oh my god, Marvel's the best movies ever, and I hate those guys because those Marvel, they're shit.
Yeah.
There's just as many shit Marvel movies as there are shit DC movies.
Yeah,
It's
I
just-
actually, when Disney Plus came out and I got that, I sat down and tried to watch some of the Marvel movies and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'll see what this is all about, and I'm like, it's just noise and lights and explosions.
It took me 3 days to watch the latest Marvel Avenger movie, the Endgame or whatever it was.
Oh,
It took
okay.
me 3 days to watch it. I had so many friends who were like, it's the best movie ever. It is loud.
Yeah, yes, it's loud and bright. It's just stimulation, here you go, shoving it down your throat. Like there's nothing else to it.
Now, since we're talking about movies and we're way off topic of COVID and people have tuned out already, anyways, I don't care.
Everybody else is quarantined too, so it can be a long
Whatever.
episode. What else are you
Go watch Jojo Rabbit. If you're at home, if you're you, Johnny, go watch Jojo Rabbit. I will give it to you by legal renting.
Never heard of Jojo Rabbit.
Okay, so it takes place at the end of World War II.
Okay.
You've got a little boy who is in Hitler Youth,
Yeah.
and his mom is a part of the resistance, and she has smuggled a Jew into the home, and he finds said Jewish girl, and they form a relationship.
Okay.
It is fucking hilarious. By the way, this little kid, his imaginary friend is Adolf Hitler. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, this sounds hilarious, Tom.
It is hilarious.
This World War II era Hitler youth befriending a Jew and hiding.
Johnny, I am demanding. You know, we're going to do an episode on it. You're going to watch it. You have to watch it. We're doing an episode on it.
Right.
We're doing a movie episode. You have to watch it. I decided to not do the movie episode on Cold Mountain, like I told you I was going to. I decided not to do it because I don't want to put you through it, because that movie is a fucking dumpster fire. But you're watching Jojo Rabbit, and we're going to talk about it because it's fucking amazing.
When was this made?
This year, it was up for the best picture this year.
What? This is a new movie?
Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
All right. Was it in theaters?
Yeah, it was in theaters. Yeah, limited theaters.
Okay.
It has who's the chick that plays Black Widow
I don't
that
know.
people find attractive, but I think she looks like a horse.
Sarah Jessica Parker?
Different horse. Different horse.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know actresses.
I know. She played Black Widow. Whoever it was, people at home know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I picture her. Yeah, I don't know the name though. Anyway.
Yeah, she's in it.
Okay.
Can't remember anybody else's name in it. The guy who plays Captain K, he's I know his face. I don't know his name. Fucking amazing in it. Great.
All
I'm
right.
giving it to you, Johnny. You have to watch it. You know what we should do is we should watch it together and then record it while we're watching it together and make laugh at it.
Do you think you can get it on Laserdisc? No.
You know, there has to be a way to burn things onto Laserdisc. So maybe I don't know. Anyways, that's my second bowl. My last bowl prediction, and we'll wrap it up here because we went long. I think I don't know. Whatever, we'll edit it as we need to. I think the government is a conspiracy theory, and bold prediction wrapped in one, will not want to relinquish the amount of control that they realize they have,
Oh, absolutely
that they have now. Oh, the governor can say these businesses are closed and your guys are okay with it? Well, said businesses are closed. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I could. Government overreach is certainly. Who was it? Somebody historically said you never let a good disaster or something go to waste, or never let a good something go to waste.
That's one adage I don't know, Johnny. Wow,
Yeah,
I'm impressed. You've been impressing me lately with your historical shit that you do know, that you're not leading on, that you do know.
I've read a couple things here and there.
Yeah, good for
Mostly
you.
and I think I just saw it on some meme or something. But yeah, somebody said you never let a good I can't remember what the word they used, but basically good pandemic or good disaster or
Good tragedy.
something like that go to waste, and you do that by taking advantage of all the power that you can control when people start freaking out and looking at the government being like, so what do we do? And you're like, well, you're gonna get locked in your house, and if you leave, we're gonna arrest you.
Well, look at historically, this is every time something bad tragically happens, we sacrifice a little bit of freedom for that security. It happens all the time. In next week's This Week in History, we're going to talk a little bit about habeas corpus being suspended to fight the KKK.
Yeah.
Yes, on paper, it's a great idea. We suspend habeas corpus to fight the terrorist group of the KKK. Great. But then what happens when you extend it to other things?
While it's still suspended, maybe we need to keep suspending it a little bit longer because of this other thing that maybe might happen.
Right? And that's the whole, I think it was Franklin who said, never sacrifice freedom for any security. We shouldn't do that.
I think he said anybody willing to sacrifice their freedoms for a little bit of security deserve neither.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. God, we're gonna do next the week after you guys see this. We'll do Franklin. He's a character.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. We'll see. I'm excited to learn a little bit because I know what history books have taught me.
There is so much more than history that have taught. Like there's a lot of ridiculous things that he did outside of the history books. That's just, I love them. So I'm curious to see how the government responds to the amount of. It's just like Homeland Security after 9/11. They built that whole entity, and even Obama was like, "We're going to get rid of it." His whole first campaign was like, "We're going to get rid of it," and then like he was slapped on his hand for violating the Spygate shit. Like,
airport travel changed forever. It was supposed to be this temporary thing, and now it's just different.
The last time I did airport travel for work, the night before I loaded a bunch of ammunition.
Oh God.
And then I went to the airport security that next day, not thinking about it, not doing anything. And I'm a scary white guy because I'm a young white guy who they feel like he's not going to sue us if we pull him out for additional screening.
That's
so
right.
Almost all the time I get pulled out for additional screening.
Yeah.
Well, that day I got pulled out for like bomb test residue, and I'm like, oh fuck. I really hope I washed my hands
You're like,
well enough when I loaded those bullets the night before.
So here's the thing. All those bullets you're about to find in my bag, I just loaded them. And that's why you're getting that smell from me. It's nothing. I don't have a bomb. It's just all those bullets. I shouldn't have
Shouldn't have had those bullets.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Historic Hindsight. Every week, we take a look at some of the major events that took place during this week in a segment that we like to call This Week in History.
And I feel fine. 3, 2, 1, 0. And liftoff.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
All right, Johnny. I only actually have two things for you this week because they're both a little bit longer.
Okay.
But the first thing this week on our 16th week of doing this is the Battle of Fort Sumter happens on April 12th through 13th, 1861.
Well, hot damn.
Hot damn, yeah. We actually talked about this a little bit during our Bull Run episode, but
Yep.
to go in a little bit different detail, although we probably should have had an own episode on it because it's ridiculous on its own right. But anyways,
I mean, we might get there.
maybe, I don't know. I've researched it now 2 times. I don't know if I want to do it a third time. But in any case, the South Carolina militia, which is dirty, dirty rebels, we hate them.
Yep.
Boo, rebels.
Boo, South Carolina.
South Carolina, fuck them. They would open up fire on the federal Fort Sumter nearby in Charleston, South Carolina harbor at 4:30 a.m. on April 12th.
Again, I know I've said this for a Civil War podcast in the past. They started shit way too early in the Civil War.
They did. Way too early in the morning.
Yeah,
4:30 in the morning. That's
4:30,
stupid.
5:30, 3:30, all this bullshit.
And we'll get there in a second, Johnny. But Lieutenant Henry Farley, acting upon the command of Captain George James, people who you don't need to know because they're not important.
Yeah.
Like, these are people, if you go to Wikipedia and look them up, there's nothing there because they're nobodies. These are 2 middle management people who are like, you know what, let's start a civil war and fire some shit. So the first shot was fired from a single 10-inch mortar round from Fort Johnson by Lieutenant Henry Farley at 4:30 in the morning, April 12th.
Because he's just bored.
Anyways, the first shot was originally offered to Roger Pryor, who declined, saying that I could not fire the first gun of the war, aka I'm not going down to history as being the jackass that started this shit.
No, you're going down in history as a coward who refused.
No, nobody remembers him anyways. So he's just like, I'm not.
We just brought up whatever that guy's name was, so we remember him.
Yeah, sure. This was followed by a 43-gun bombardment from mortars from Fort Moultrie, Fort Johnson, and a floating battery at Cummins Port.
Wow.
So, 3 essential fort positions of batteries that were firing. Orders from Beauregard, which we learned about at the Battle of Bull Run there, he ordered that the fires would be counterclockwise in sequence around the harbor with 2-minute intervals to save ammunition, because even at the start of the war, the Confederates were fucked.
They're already starting. Guys, we don't have a lot of ammunition, but we're going to do a big ol' attack here. But let's be careful with it, because probably we're going to have a whole war after this.
Probably. Major Anderson, who was in charge of the Fort Sumter, decided to wait until the morning to engage because he's like, it's not that bad. Just
We'll be fine.
stay sleeping, guys.
Keep
Wait
your
for a
heads
couple
down.
hours. He had his men have breakfast and then ordered...
Most important meal of the day, though.
Most important meal of the day, yes. He then ordered his soldiers to fire one single shot at the floating battery, and he missed.
Damn.
He didn't actually have enough men or ammunition to operate the 60 guns of the fort, and decided that, hey, look, we'll only operate the guns that actually are
So they're kind of staying there as like an Airbnb more than an actual fort.
It sounds like it, yes.
It's just a place to sleep.
They're like, look,
you can't operate any of this stuff, but you'll be fine.
But they're there, and so we'll only operate the guns that are actually defended, that reduces casualties. And, to be fair, he was right.
That works.
This resulted in a 34-hour bombardment,
Holy cow.
which produced no casualties, Johnny, except for one mule that was killed.
Do you suppose that everybody involved felt good or bad about that?
I honestly don't know. I think
Like,
the
on both
Confederates felt
sides.
good because the Union surrendered, but the Union felt was like, look, we surrendered because we had no ammunition, no canvas bags for the powder for the ammunition.
Right, well, but do they feel good that they surrendered, or they're just like, okay, well, I guess it's over, but like, we didn't kill any of them.
So they got nothing accomplished.
Like, we just shot at them and wasted all of the ammo that we had.
Well, they sure did, Johnny.
And now what?
Well, now what? Let me tell you now what.
We go
So-
on to fight a 4-year war that they're going to lose?
So there
Or
was an
5-year
attempt.
war, whatever?
Well, yes, but there was an attempt to rearm and resupply the fort, but that went to naught because, well, one little dinghy going against the
I mean, yeah, well,
blockade isn't going to really work.
they sent some dude, they're like, hey, see that rowboat? You're going to take that out to the fort, and there's going to be a bunch of ammo in it. Don't worry about the people that are surrounding it, just firing volleys every 2 minutes.
Don't worry about the surrounding naval bombardment.
Yeah, don't worry
fort.
about that.
No, like I said, no casualties were happened except for one dead mule. But Major Anderson, when he did decide to surrender, because obviously, I don't have the men to operate this fort. I don't have food, ammunition, nothing. I'll go ahead and surrender. But I want a 100-gun salute to honor the U.S. flag before I surrender. Let's do that.
But wait. 100-gun salute?
Which was more than the whole fucking siege to begin
To
with.
honor what?
The American flag, Johnny.
The flag itself?
Yes, the flag.
Why?
The
Why do
idea,
we-
Johnny. The idea of freedom.
I've never understood the fetishism of the flag.
I get you, but that's what it was for. It was to
Okay,
honor
so
the
they're
flag.
gonna fire 100 guns.
And during this 100-gun salute, 2 Union soldiers would die because, sparks would hit the ammunition cache and blow it up.
Wait, so for 34 hours,
Nobody
these
dies.
asshats shot at each other and couldn't kill anybody.
Nobody dies.
And then they surrender,
Yes.
fire 100 freaking guns in the air,
Yes.
and kill 2 people because they blow shit up.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, Johnny, and for the last thing that I have for today, because these 2 things were longer, Lincoln would be assassinated on April 14th through 15th, April 16th, 1865. Sorry.
Hey, wait, what dates?
April 4th, he was shot April 14th, but he wouldn't die until April 15th.
Bum City.
Bum City. He'd
Long time to hang around
he
with
lived
a big old
a-
hole in your head.
he lived with a hole in his head for 12 hours. It was crazy. So most of us actually know what happened, but Lincoln would attend a play called Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., and he would be shot in the back of the head with a Philadelphia Derringer by actor John Wilkes Booth. So, woo, we all know that.
Right.
What we don't exactly know, or what most people aren't quite as familiar with the surroundings of it, is that Lincoln himself actually chose to use City Police of Washington, D.C. to act as his security detail as opposed to the Pinkerton Guards.
The Pinkerton Guards were the traditional,
Yeah, Pinkerton Detective Agency.
the traditional guard for whatever sitting president there was.
Well,
or
no.
Just
So Lincoln was one of the first presidents to actually have a security detail.
okay.
There wasn't a Secret Service that
Right.
exists today. So Lincoln would hire the Pinkertons, which are the evil people from Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2, to guard him.
They were just like a freelance agency.
Yes, exactly.
Mercenaries.
Yeah,
basically.
not a government regulated one. But instead of using them, he decided to use city police.
Okay. Instead
So-
of hiring a bunch of mercenaries, he's going to use the police that the city's already paying for. Saving money. And smart. Heady play.
Yes, yeah, well, sort of, except for that his Pinkerton guard William H. Crook, who was off duty at the time, did approach Lincoln prior to going to the Ford's Theater and said, "Look, you really shouldn't go today. Like, it's not a good day.
It's a bad idea.
Your wife isn't feeling great. Probably shouldn't go." But Lincoln said, "You know what? No, I have to go because the paper said I was going to go. So I have to go because the media said I was going to be there. I have to be there." Really different time
Yeah.
as far as security is concerned for presidents today.
Yeah, probably part of the reason it is so intense today.
You might not be that off there. So one of the city police officers, a John Frederick Parker, was assigned the security detail for Lincoln, but he thought it was going to be a better idea to go across the street to the local tavern and get drunk with Lincoln's coachman because, who's going to shoot the president because it's never been done before.
He's gonna go watch a play for a couple hours. I can get some beer over here. It's gonna be fun. It's great.
Or Johnny, some
yeah, probably have
Merca whiskey.
probably some of his god
I'm out
awful
of
whiskey.
beer. Depressing. Anyways, so yeah, he went across the street to get drunk, much like I am right now, and ignore his duties, kind of much like I am right now. Whatever.
So you can empathize with this guy a little
I can
bit.
sort of empathize. I can sort of empathize with him.
Why maybe it didn't
But
seem
in
like
the
such a
process,
big deal.
Actor John Wilkes Booth, who was a Southern sympathizer, there was this huge conspiracy behind it. Like they were supposed to murder a bunch of congressmen and shit,
Yeah.
which didn't actually happen because one of them was only wounded, and the other guy was like, "I'm not going to do this because,
Chicken out.
I don't want to spend the rest of my life in jail."
Yeah, well, that's fair.
But in any case, John Wilkes Booth walks up to Lincoln's booth, walks up behind him with a Philadelphia Derringer, pops him in the back of the head, says his famous Sic Semper Trianus, and jumps on the stage, breaks his legs, and runs away.
Breaks his legs and runs away.
Yeah, he broke a leg and ran away.
Ouch. That's impressive.
Or hobbled away.
He could have run. The adrenaline's a crazy thing, man.
It is, because a few weeks later, he would be called up by the U.S. military in a barn and shot to death because, he wasn't going to surrender.
Well,
Or maybe
he wasn't going to be allowed to surrender.
That's the better.
As it is with most cases where somebody holds up somewhere with a gun, they're not going to be given the chance to surrender.
there's no chance. After being shot, Lincoln was taken across the street to the Peterson home, where doctors observing Lincoln realized that he was in pain every time that the wound would start to clot and the blood would start to build up in his brain. So they thought it was prudent to poke their finger in the gunshot hole to keep the blood flowing because, yep, that makes sense.
Don't want it to clot.
Don't want it to clot. And Lincoln would wind up succumbing to his wounds at 7:22 a.m. on April 15th.
Is he going to be okay?
No, he succumbed to his wounds, Johnny. He died.
He what?
Yeah, he died.
Lincoln?
Yeah.
The president?
Yeah, got shot to death.
Holy shit.
Crazy.
Why didn't
Before
anybody
the
tell
Civil
us
War
about
is
this?
officially even over.
That's insane.
It is.
And that's This Week in History.